Well, good morning everybody. Today we're going to talk about brand refueling. My name is Joffrey Walonker. I'm the design manager at the Royal Delft group. And before we're going to talk about new products, of course we have to talk about the past first, to see a little bit of a context in which this all happened. So I'm going to take you along to this walk and a little bit of history about Delftware. So Delftware, it all started when the VUC, the East Indian trading company, started importing the blueware from the Far East, from China, in the 17th century. First they conquered the ship, then they put it on the Dutch market, and it became so popular that they decided to start to import it, making first products inspired by the Chinese blueware, and later on they also brought some of their own designs to China, which they actually then brought back to Holland. Now, the stock from the Far East came a little bit to a stop because of the wars going on in China. And then the pottery companies in Delft decided actually to start up their own production. And in the mid of the 17th century, around, let's say, in our case, 1653, lots of companies started making their own version of the blueware. Royal Delft started in 1653 in the city center of Delft. And it became so popular that at the peak of the market we had about 35 factories in Delft, all making this blueware. But Delftware, of course, because also became very popular, but also because of the introduction of let's say new production techniques, the Industrial Revolution, and so on. Later on in the 18th century, 19th century, it became less popular and all the factories had to close down. And well, today, Delft and the Royal Delft is the only place left within the city limits of Delft where this traditional pottery is being made. Now in Delft, we are, it's a Delft Blue Experience Center. It's where we receive at a yearly base about 150,000 people watching the whole procedure of making the Delftware. And of course, we now 2 years ago we opened up this experience center to be a better tourist attraction. So the current values actually from the Delftware is of course the unique painting skills of the master painters we have in Delft. It takes about 10 years internally to teach painters to get it to the highest level, and then after that they can call themselves master painters, which can make actually this kind of patterns and reproduce this kind of patterns and big products. But also our small ceramic production facility with a special method of making the ceramics on which you can paint the graphics is very unique within the Delft, within this whole Delftware production. Now all the skills, all the craftsmanship will lead to products like this. So quality, high quality products, big, let's say, vases like this one, or the tulip vases, heritage from the 17th century, but costing, you know, about between 6,000 and 13,000 euros. So it's quite an expensive piece. You see the skills, so lots of reproduction works going on. Tiles, which we make, we have a one-on-one, let's say, portrait of the Night Watch in Delft, which were made by the painters over there. Valuable. We have strong ties with the royal family. In every occasion there is, we will, if it's a birth or another special occasion, there will be some sort of a tile or a plate or everything especially being made for the occasion. They take along on their state visits a lot of Delftware as presents to heads of states. And so you see, all the skills, let's say, from Delft are being used internationally. We use this kind of skills also to customize, of course. When there are companies who need some special item, you see, we can customize them and we make this special, in this case, this Unilever board. Or for instance, this interior piece we did for Hammond and Blijker's restaurant in Rotterdam. Special, all the skills from those painters being put in that kind of stuff. But the graphics are also not always being put on only ceramics. For instance, they are also being used for licensing projects, like stationery, or sometimes we translate an existing product into a Delft Blueware version, like in this case the Nijntje Blueware line. So that brings us to values to the current brand activities of Delft, which are mainly the main brand we have where all the hand painting is taking place. And you see some sort of a derivative towards souvenirs and mass production pieces, also sometimes with decals, that's a printing technique, or customized products like I showed you, like the Unilever plate, but many other kinds of products. But of course we also have very big stigmas hanging on this Delftware. So where do you actually buy our products? Where do people come in contact with our products? Well, mostly in souvenir shops. This is where most of the people see Delftware. And it's very difficult in between all those little cheap versions of Delftware to recognize this beautiful piece made by us. And you love it or you hate it, I always say. You love it or you hate it. Everybody likes to bring out their own version of a Delftware expression, you know, from the little windmills towards openers. Well, I don't know these three guys in the middle, but you probably know them. So, lots of things are going on. Our hand painting, nowadays we have so many different also techniques to make, let's say, the images less expensive. For instance, the decal prints, which are also being used to put on plates, that is very hard for an amateur to see the difference. I have here two plates. So which one is painted by hand and which one is a decal? Only the price sometimes for the amateur can tell. Because one is 69 euros and the other one is almost 1400 euros. Which makes it very hard for people to buy sometimes the expensive piece when they are surrounded by the cheap ones. You can only tell by turning it around. But then you can see actually we have a hand painting logo on this side and a decal logo on the other side. And because it is very old technique, the Delftware, you know, there are no intellectual property rights on old work. So if you have a piece from the past, or maybe someone is getting inspired by something he sees in a museum, they can vary, they can make their own variation towards Delft, which we also see. Because when I start drawing something with a blue pen on a piece of white paper, all of a sudden people say, oh, that looks like Delftware. It's mainly the color. Different kind of styles, graphic styles, change it into blue and white, people say it's Delftware. So that's also a little bit difficult for us. Now, one of the biggest problems also we have in our current assortment is that the products we still make, except for the big pieces, but the smaller pieces, they do not have this fit with now the interior anymore. There are not so many people here in this room who have these kind of products in there, or are there? No. There's one. Fortunately. So we had to. So that was also a big problem in our situation. So that lead us actually to this problem situation we had with Delft, and that is that with this current collection, you know, it's very hard to see the difference between the cheaper and hand-painted product, and also the designs we had within a collection cannot find the way towards, you know, the nowadays interiors of contemporary consumers. So what to do? Now, we have been, let's say, the company has been taken over in 2008, has taken over other companies, and also gained some extra, let's say, knowledge. And with all those people together, we said we're going to set up a new brand structure for Delft. And what did we do? We said, okay, we're going to build up a new portfolio, and the new portfolio had challenges so that products should be recognizable from Delft. So if you see a piece, you not only you see that it's blueware, but you could also tell it's a Royal Delft piece, instead of not knowing, because the images are the same, what our competitors are doing. We should make an improved price and quality level which fit to nowadays wallets, spending behavior. Because how many people will buy this 13,000 euro vase? Yeah, cut it in half, I give you a discount for 50% and nobody will raise their hand still buying one today. I have an offer for you. So, and the third base was, of course, let's try to make a better fit to nowadays lifestyle. No, the machine is not working. Yeah. So, with our main brand, still the most important thing, that's the hand painting skills. With, of course, the mass brand with all the little souvenirs and derivatives from the hand painting. We saw the customized items, and we like to add a new element, and that we call now here a design brand label. So how do you build a new brand? We know how to build products, but do we know how to build a brand? Because most of the brands we have internally are over 200 years old, 300 years old even. So building a brand, fortunately we had some experience with another brand we built 10 years ago, and it's a whole process called a brand design process. You're going to determine first, you know, all the new mental values of your new brand, and the easiest way to do that is to build what we use is called a brand house, which says, you know, you have a foundation on which you're going to build this new brand, and above the ground you fill it with all kinds of types of mental values until you have some sort of package which you can translate later on. Now, foundation is the same for everybody. Let's say it's your customers, it's your market inside, it's the production, it's for everywhere the same. It's the whole market situation. So everybody can build on that. I will not go through all the parts of our brand house because that's internally, of course. But I give you something away from our brand personality. Now we said, of course, we want to have ties with the old tradition, what we do, with all the skills we had. So The best thing maybe to phrase that is to say it should be an offspring from Delft, but with an own vision. And when we looked in the market, you know, are there other companies as well who did this, or who actually did this in the same way? You know, I came across this brand. You might know. It's like Floris van Bommel. You know, you have the old shoes, Van Bommel shoes, and he's part of the family, and he brought this new mindset towards this brand. Still, the old Van Bommel shoes are there, but you can tell when you go into the shop, he brought his own vision, respecting also the tradition from the past, making products like this. Or, what's also very good, I always say be as blue jeans. Now denim also exists for hundreds of years already, but every time they succeed in making it different. Every year, all the brands, you know, but still denim stays denim. So that was inspiration for us. That was inspiration. Next step we did, of course, is translating those mental values you had in this little brand house into visual and touchable products. And that's where brand design starts. You know, we start inviting people to make logos, to make a new house style, and also to build this new assortment of products. We decided to introduce this new label. We already did, and it was called Blue D 1653. And of course, we say the D, it stands for Dutch, it stands for Delft, it stands for design, it stands for decoration, and a bit of desire. So everything was packed in that D. So it's a very loaded letter in this logo. Bit of an image of our mood board for this new brand. Everything going on. This had to be the new feel of this brand. Now we also had to decide the product boundary, because what we're going to make. Now, what kind of products are we do we want in this new brand? And one of the things we said, you know, to ourselves, Delft is known by hanging the plates on the wall, but we want to put them on the table again. So that was the first thing. We make decorative pieces, but sometimes they have to have a context also. So we say, okay, listen, the things we're going to do, it's about mood, decoration, it's about food, eating, and it's about lifestyle. Everything comes together. So this was a bit of a product boundary. Also, we put in our design brief to the designers. Another very important element of this new project was that we wanted to have our skills from our master painters to be known. So yes, to make the products, let's say, less expensive, we should go to this new kind of techniques to use, decal print techniques. But the origin of those patterns should be known. You can either decide to hand paint a product maybe in a cheap labor country, but then I don't know who the painter is, and he makes 10, 20 different or 100 different items per day. But we also can treasure the skills we have from our own painters, and that's why we say, no, listen, we're going to use our painters who can also design, who are also very good graphic designers within their blueware knowledge. And we said we're going to hook up our master painters with designers. So every designer is actually connected to one of our invited painters. We made a brief. We invited the three designers for the start of the kickoff of the new label, and they were asked to think out and design new products within this boundary of mood, food and lifestyle. And they came up with, I think, beautiful products. Well, I show you some of Chris Koens, accompanied by Paul Bartels, the painter. Chris was thinking about, let's say, I want to organize things in a new way. Here's your lifestyle element, also for phones or my keys or my tablet and so on. A nice ring for all my for the a desk or a fruit bowl. There was also introduction of other materials instead of only ceramics. He wanted to have some sort of element underneath the ceramics. In this case, it's a rubberized mat, also with ornaments coming from our heritage. And he designed a new set of a tea set, a teapot, also with a rubber element in the bottom as a coaster, and accompanied little cups. And here you see actually that they, also with the painter, they deciding, you know, where to put all the decorations. Now, this is eventually how it turned out to be. A fruit bowl differently. It's like a ring. It's like drawing a line on your table and telling you where to put the ring, or where to put the fruit, or even your telephone on your desk. Or eventually this teapot with just an element, a blue element on top of it, only in the lid. Because one of the things they did, of course, and the designer said, we want to bring all the ornaments back to a level which now fits into nowadays interior. Arjan Brekveld, working on, he was very inspired also by the little cufflinks we make in Delft. And he said, I want to just give my crockery, these are my little cups and ceramics, a touch of blue. So that's why this line is called Touch of Blue. This is the concept. And of course, Royal Delft, the porcelain flask, which means porcelain flask. Actually, he translated in these beautiful pieces, also which you can put in your kitchen or on a cabinet. And also here introducing new materials. So it turned out to be just this little element of blue, which people think, you know, they know the heritage and they know it's being made by our master painters, the designs, and it has to us a better fit in nowadays interiors. Your big espresso cup, cappuccino cup. So combined actually with a little blue element, ring, banner, but also with a introduction of new materials. You can here see, just by adding this piece of fabric, in this case is an elastic band, you see with the logo, it softens up also the whole appearance of the material of the ceramics. So it's the combination. I can show you when you take off the fabric from the ceramics, it all becomes harder instantly. So you need external designers to bring this to your assortment. Damien O'Sullivan, who worked together with Kathleen Hartman, one of our master painters, he was inspired by the tiles we also do in Delft. So he says, instead of hanging them on the wall, let's eat from tiles. Introducing this kind of sushi platters or cheese serving items. And also a line which is called Double Heritage. He was inspired by old shapes, but he said instead we're going to use the old shapes, but then we're going to make a little bit more of a modern twist in the decoration. Here, for instance, also an old shape of a vase, but translated into a neck cup and a salt cellar. They look happy. Some of the designs in the preface, you see that actually all the designs are being made and especially being made by our painters. Resulting in this kind of items, and which you have here on the left is called a double board. It's a two-piece vase. And normally in history this would be a one-piece vase, but now it's a two-piece. You can take off the top, for instance, for one flower, and use the bottom one for more flowers. Or if you don't have any flowers, put them back together and they be as one again. And the little one over there, I don't have a picture of that, is actually having a mirror inside. To use as for cotton balls or whatever, just you have a mirror. So here exactly is how the salt cellar on the table end up, and also the use of the tiles in this case for cheese, and in this case as a sushi serving platter. So, finally, you see that all the items started to be made in Delft. Nowadays we have a mixing combination. Some parts are being made in Delft, some parts are being made elsewhere. Because for some elements we have to fit price settings of the global market, unfortunately, but it's the laws of the commercial laws. And but most of the beer items are still being made in Delft, starting here and ending up here. And of course, there's more to come. This is actually what I want to tell you.